Welcome to Adult Puzzle, a podcast where we talk all things adulting.
We all know adulting is a scam, right?
Real scam, very real scam. Honestly, no one knows everything, so we're all in this together.
One puzzle at a time.
We're puzzled together, man.
And we're back. Hey guys. Welcome to another episode of AP. And it's your wonderful, amazing co-host here, Lamide, with your other amazing, actually maybe more amazing co-host, Lolade. She's here. Lolade, what's up?
Hi,
How are you?
guys. Welcome back. I'm good.
How was your week? Let's start off there. How you feeling? How was your week? What have you been up to?
My week was long. I don't know. It's been nothing like super amazing has happened. How about you?
Hmm. Um, Same. It was very long, and I had so much to do. I just had so much to do. It was weird, but
Yeah, life
great
is pretty
week.
tough. It was great for you. That's good.
Great week. Yeah, when you accomplish things, you feel
Mm,
really.
that's true.
Yeah, those chemicals I always talk about, they get pumping.
Feel
So
good chemicals.
yeah. Today's special. Today's
Today
special.
is very special. I'm very
Today,
excited.
you guys, we have a special guest in the building today.
Not
She's
a
an
first timer, guys. Not a first timer.
I'm gonna
This
she's
be
an
is
like, I was gonna be like, not too special,
no
honestly.
extremely special. Just so you know,
she's
this is
not a stranger, but she's really special. A
yeah.
friend of the pod.
Yes, more than a friend. I feel like Femi, your friend, director, strategist, publicist,
I'm
You know,
everything. And we
screaming.
appreciate you.
I'm
talk
screaming.
about day ones.
I know, right?
Proper definition, proper definition of day ones. Today we're going to be talking about finances and relationships, guys. That subject in itself is juicy. Let me ask you, Femi. I mean, let's say recently you've been dating, right? You're dating someone. Are you dating? That's personal, but let's say
I
you're dating
am
someone.
dating. I'm dating. I'm
Good.
really looking forward to learning so much on this podcast. You guys have no idea. So,
Okay,
but let me
perfect.
allow you.
Perfect. So you're dating someone recently, and during the talking stage, when you guys are asking yourself questions and all that, you mentioned that you're very big on experiences. You like to go out, date nights, hiking, travel around the world, whatever it is. And it's important to share those experiences with him. The person now mentions to you that spending on things like that, like releasing cash for things like that, is not something they are usually into. How do you respond or how do you move forward?
I feel like thank God it's just the talking stage, Abby.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because you know Uh, if we're just in the talking stage and you let the person know right off the bat, like, okay, this is kind of like how I am with my finances, this is what I like to do. And if they're not comfortable with it, then I don't see any reason why you guys should pursue anything further. That's just like my simple takeaway from that. At least it's the talking stage. It's not like, oh, you're knee deep into the relationship now and then they're finding out all these things and they're seeing your financial behavior and realizing, oh, okay, this person might not be compatible for me long term, right? So if you can nip it in the bud early on from the get go, just do that. So that's my cop out talking stage.
Wow. So,
Talking stage.
so yeah, I feel like you're hiding on that talking stage. If it was after talking stage, if it was after talking stage, and the person just tells you like, let's say something more than talking stage already. You're already feeling the guy like that, and would you just like say, oh, okay, like, yeah, that wouldn't work for me?
Okay,
Would,
so like
would,
if
would your
it's
response change if it's something more than talking stage? Like,
okay, so now if it's like, okay, we're dating now and this is
mhm,
like past the talking stage, like I can understand that. Okay, let's establish something here. Like when it comes to money, it's a very, very crucial component of any relationship or even the basis of so many other relationships that are not even what you call it, exclusive. So like even in our family, in our personal lives, like it's a very, very crucial thing, right? And it's also known to cause a lot of stress in
Mm.
relationships, because probably for many people it's something that's off limits, or maybe you as a person, or maybe me as a person, like it's something I'm insecure about, in my, like just looking at my own financial situation, and having that conversation with a potential partner or my significant other will now cause me to deal with the reality of, oh my god, this is a serious situation, right? But that's besides the point. If I'm already knee deep into this relationship, I think for me the next step would be trying to establish, okay, why would this be a red flag for you? Like it might force us to actually now talk about like our own individual financial situation,
Mhm.
right? Because if somebody has a problem with your lifestyle, especially if this is something you're big on, like you're going to want to address it, like because at the end of the day, if you now decide to really, really, really pursue things further, and it could lead to resentment, it could become a bigger issue in of itself, because like this is something that this person has established from the beginning that they're not super comfortable with,
Hmm.
right? So I think it will now lead to the conversation of, okay, let's discuss this, like why
Okay.
would this be an issue, what
Right.
priorities do you think would be more to place when it comes to finances and things like that. So I think that's when you now try to like really peel back the skin and try to discuss, okay, where do we
Okay.
move from?
Okay. Okay. Lade, what do you think? What would you do?
I definitely agree with everything Femi said. I think like from if talking stage, I just wouldn't move forward, just being honest. Just cause like already I could see how we would clash a lot because my lifestyle doesn't align with your lifestyle. I mean, it sounds brash, but like let's be real. If you see those
Let's
signals as early as possible, if anything, it's
mm-hmm.
you should be happy that
Right.
you're catching it early rather than later
Mm-hmm.
on. And to Femi's point, if you now like the person, let's say you guys um have started dating more intensely, boyfriend, girlfriend, or even sometimes like there is a change in a relationship dynamic because that happens where let's say somebody gets more money or somebody doesn't have as much money and your lifestyle is changing, then having those conversations around like, okay, where are we? What do you feel comfortable with? What you don't feel comfortable with? And then reassessing with myself if I could truly compromise. Because if not, you're gonna clash. So really coming to that middle ground if you can. If you cannot, then just walk away because this is lifestyle. This is not even like
Mm-hmm.
one off. This is how you like to live your life and how you like the type of lifestyle that you like. So yeah, that's my take. Very similar to what Femi said.
And it's funny because like me and my boyfriend, we've had this conversation, but we haven't really gotten into the deep knickers of it. But
Hmm.
he was saying something like in a relationship, yes, there's emotions, there's feelings, there's
Hmm.
all these things, but like when money enter, love is sweeter. Do you
Oh
get?
my gosh,
Mm.
yes. No, 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 for real. Because, and no, Femi, for real. Because one of the things I was so excited about with this episode was how different I see it now. Like
Mm-hmm.
me as a 25-year-old woman versus me 18, 20. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I'm between the ages of 18 to 20. It's so different. Like love is different with money, man.
Yes,
So different.
and I think financial compatibility in the long run will play a huge role in the
Hmm.
success of your relationship.
Yep.
So
Yep.
if you can talk about it in the early on without feeling insecure or anything, if you can have that conversation just in the get go, please,
Mm.
Yeah.
I beg,
It's
it is
interesting.
important.
It's interesting you mentioned financial compatibility because today I'm flanked with two very, strong women in their own rights, quote unquote.
No, for
And
real.
I have a follow up.
No, like
Oh,
for real. No, Lamide, for real. Femi is a boss ass bitch, just so
what
you
are you
Oh
know.
my
saying? I know
god!
this. I know
Don't
this. It's
tempt
not.
me,
They don't
guys.
have to tell me these things. I know. I know. She's giving everything she's supposed to give right now. And we know that even the way Lorade speaks to our listeners already know that Lorade is on that. And by the way, can we just reiterate the subtle flex that Femi mentioned earlier? is different if it's dating. So apparently dating is different from talking stage. I just want you guys to know, whoever is listening,
Okay, to be
know
fair,
that
I like
dating
that separation. I do,
dating
because
and talking
now
stage.
everybody be talking. What are we talking about, please?
Yeah.
Like literally.
Femi, you can't relate. Please close your mouth.
So like I said earlier, as two successful and comfortable women, you know, would you be
Drillers.
opposed? Would you ever fully disclose your financial earnings, to a man that you're seeing, to a man that you're dating?
Me right now, no. Just hands down, no. Just because I feel like I have now come to realize how intimidating my status may come off to certain type of men. And I'm not trying to bucket every man in this, right?
Hmm.
However, I think before I used to be very oblivious, and I think maybe it was because of like the type of dynamic I had with my ex. Like you know, there was a lot of respect there and all of that. But not saying this men don't respect me, but I feel like, especially if that's one of the first few things that they pick up from me, there's just a way that it sits with them that in their head they're like, oh, what am I doing here? Right.
So Lolade has a you problem. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's definitely not a me problem. Like for real, it's not a me problem. But I think for me, it's definitely something that will come up. And when you say dating here, I'm actually I'm speaking in terms of like talking. So if I just meet a guy, we go out for dinner or like whatever,
Hmm.
I'm not going to imply the type of lifestyle that I live.
Hmm.
I'm not. I'm gonna gauge, and this is, to be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is me now having to break my own back for like guys. Um, I'm gonna see the lifestyle that he has, and if that lifestyle, from my own perspective, can fit with mine, that is when I now feel okay. I can now disclose with you. If I feel like it can't, so going back to that, to the question that you asked earlier, it's kind of like reverse engineering. Me, I'm already trying to
Mm.
to remove you from the equation before you can even like come. It's like I want to weed you out if you just can't keep up with my lifestyle. And it sounds brash. However, I have come to realize it's just the way society works now, in the sense of like guys feel belittled if from a status perspective, like financially, if the girl, is way above him, or like, I don't know, whatever. And so from my perspective, very, very early on, it won't come out of my mouth at all. Like at all. I might not even fully tell you. I might say like, oh yeah, I work in biotech. You wouldn't know what ranking I work in. Even that biotech, sometimes I might just be like, oh yeah, I work in the sciences. Like that's so broad. Like you get. And that's just for the initial. And then based on our dynamic, and sometimes it might not even just be understanding how much money he makes. It might also just be like seeing his aura, seeing how he acts, like seeing if he's very egoistic, like just seeing the way he is. And then once I do feel comfortable with him, like once we go deeper into dating, or yeah, dating, then I can now disclose it. But
To follow
initially,
up, how soon does that question come up, or can come up, or would you not feel offended if that came up?
so if you ask me what do I do, I'll tell you. Like I'll tell you, I general, either I work in like life sciences or like biotech. I probably wouldn't say, well, I might say biotech depending. I wouldn't tell you like, oh, I manage like these amount of projects, or like I work on this type of $1 million deals. Like I wouldn't say all of that. Um I wouldn't feel open. So okay, let me give you a past situation that has just happened. I was talking to this guy, um, and it came up the second date. And I
Mm.
kid you not, he asked me, can I ask you a question? I said, what? He said, are you the type of girl to take your guy's last name? And already, once he said that, like, and that question came after he found out what I did. Once he said that, I could already tell that, yeah, this is the type of
It's
man.
part of the patriarchy.
You get, like, it's a no for me.
Madam, madam.
And it was so upsetting to me because I was just like, you don't even know me. You're asking me about if I'm going to take your last name. Like, you get. So I think for me now, I would say maybe like fourth, fifth dates, just exposing, okay, maybe some more details about my financial status and stuff like that. However, it also ties into the type of person that you are. So if I pick up that you might not even deserve to know it, then I wouldn't even tell you at all.
Okay. And
Mm.
I like that you ended with that, because if it's a thing of, them feeling intimidated by you, I was going to be like, girl, they would let them feel intimidated. At the end of the day, it's what you make, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also understand the whole concept of that reverse engineering and just going back to that first question of trying to see if, okay, if I show you this certain side of me, is that something that, potentially this person will be comfortable with? Like, let me assess first before I, kind of reveal. But if
Exactly.
it's like, oh, not wanting to reveal just because maybe you're scared of, dampening the connection that might happen if he finds out, and he
Mm-hmm.
might feel intimidated by that, I was going to be like, hell to the no, as the
Yeah.
wrongest way to look at it, because for what? Like, but
Yeah.
I definitely
So you're
see.
not, Femi, you're not opposed to sharing your finances, like how
I
much is
am
coming in with someone that you're dating. It depends on
I'm
the person, right?
yeah, I'm actually not opposed to it. Like, if you're going to run away, and if you're going to in that very moment say, oh, you shouldn't be earning that much, or just give me some kind of like very gender role or very biased this thing, it's better for me to just catch it on, so I can be like, oh yeah, outside, outside,
Yeah.
outside, be
And I
going.
don't, do you know the funny thing, Femi? I used to be like that. And that's why this conversation is so interesting. I think it's because now I realize how in a bubble I was. Because the way I feel, the reason why now I think I'm so closed off is because there's some parts of me that I find very intimate, right? And I'm
Mm,
also a very private person. Granted, we
mm-hmm,
have a podcast, but I'm also a very private person. So the way I see, like you said earlier, is like I don't want somebody that doesn't deserve to see a certain part of me see a certain part of me. Like, and also the way I am is also like I don't want people to know what I own. Like,
mm-hmm,
don't.
mm-hmm,
And that's why it's people I bring into my space, like people that like you don't. I don't want you to know that I have this amount of money. It's not your business. So the
mm-hmm,
fact that like I have now been bitten in the ass for sharing that with certain guys, I'm like, Jesus
mm-hmm,
Christ, no, like you don't
Mm.
deserve. And so that's why my mentality has switched a bit, where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna
mm-hmm.
hold on to that shit as much as possible until I know that you may deserve it. And if I realize, oh, you don't deserve it, okay, just to pack my bags and go.
I feel like also, like, in answering a lot of these questions, a lot of it also stems from like experiences as
Yeah,
well. Because like you said,
Mm.
Lolade, in the past, it's something that you were comfortable doing, but
hmm,
then it's like over time, seeing how people men would react to it and stuff, it's like, okay, it's caused you to be kind of closed off a little bit. So
yeah.
I think it really depends on the individual at the end of the day. Because
It's
like for
funny
me
you
now,
guys.
I didn't
Mm.
have that much dating this thing, like I
Cause you
literally
found a good one, Femi. You're so lucky.
screaming. Like, so that's why for me it's like, obviously, yeah, I know what I'm earning, and let me know if this is going to be a
Yeah.
problem for you, so we can know if we're going to continue
So
or
how
not.
soon? How soon did you share that though?
The thing is that we were both students together, like we
They grew
were
together.
exactly, we're both broke together. So
So
Mm.
beautiful.
when I first got my first big girl job, it was like, obviously that's the first thing you're telling him,
Yeah.
this is how much I'm earning, and the same thing for him as well. So
I asked that follow up because just thinking about it now, what I'm about to say will sound funny to you,
hmm
but I don't think a lot of Nigerian parents, I'm talking of husband and wife now, this is not even dating stage. I've kicked it up to the highest level of the institution. I don't think husbands and wives know how much, I don't think most wives know how much their husbands are earning.
please, we can't compare our parents'
And
generation
we
to our
don't know
own
how,
Yeah.
do
generation.
you understand? Like, I just think about it now. Like, if I ask my mom, like, how much do you think, like, Popsy is pulling in a year or whatever, she might have no idea. She just knows that things get done. Do you understand what I'm
I,
saying?
and it's, sorry to
I,
cut you off,
yeah.
Lamde, and I think that's why I was telling my boyfriend, like, I'm so happy for our generation and why we're having this conversation, right? Because I don't think our parents were exposed to this knowledge, and some of them probably even saw it as a taboo, especially the women, and with the type of
Hmm.
society that they grew up in. It was pretty much like a taboo to ask the man, oh, how much is he
hmm
making? Just know he's the provider, he's the sole provider. That's all you need to know.
Yep.
You don't need to know where the money is coming from. But
Hmm.
like, it's different in our time. It's like, yo, we're literally asking these questions on the first date. We're trying to assess. Some of us are like, in the corner lurking, trying to see. Lolade is doing reverse engineering. Like, you know, we're here trying to, at least have some knowledge before deciding, okay, is this
Yeah.
person going to be on the same page with me? Do we share the same values when it comes to money? Is this going to cause some problems down the road? Like, so I think that's the huge difference between our
And
own.
also, plus, adding to that, because things are not as pure as they were back in the days anymore. It's like,
Mhm.
I think you also mentioned something about you don't know where the